obviously January is probably complicated enough in terms of just recruiting, but also lost both your coordinators this month. Curious, I mean, were those two surprising moves for you? And then what might have you learned about your program? Because, I mean, like you said, you had to activate Taylor Tharp, and Coach Ambrose gets here 2 days later, he's on the road. And
right.
I think Zach Hill's first day was Jake Constantine's first day. So
right.
Just what would you learn kind of about your program over the last month, and are you excited to call plays again too?
Yeah, learned a lot. Yeah, I learned a lot. Certainly, yeah, I'm going into my senior year. Played as a true freshman as a head coach. I'm kind of going into my senior year as a head coach, and yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about people, you know, and not in a bad way. Just, you know, this is it's a people business. And that's really what it is. And we have it down in the locker room there. You win with people, but it really is. It's about people. And it's not always about football. And there's circumstances that change, families, whatever that is, where somebody has to make a decision and do something different. What does that do for me? It makes you prepared, you know, to be ready for that, to be ready for, you know, if this happens, to be ready if, you know, if a Marcel leaves, that you have an Andy Avalos on staff that's been there developing, waiting for his opportunity, and, you know, he's ready to seize the moment. On the offensive side, you know, I feel like what we do offensively has been pretty good. I think we have an evolving formula that is, it attracts people, you know, to want to know it. And so opportunities that have come up, you know, with Mike and Eli, I mean, those are opportunities that are good opportunities for them, and we're happy for them. And trust me, all I want to do is see those guys have success, because like Coach Peterson or Coach Hawkins' tree, there's coaches that branch from that, all right, that I think I've learned a lot from, that have tried to pass along to other coaches. And I think when you kind of have some of that knowledge, you feel powerful, and you feel like you can go out there and attack it, and that's important to me. So, yeah, did I see those? No. I mean, you guys asked me, you know, before we ever went out, do you anticipate any staff changes? No, but nothing had changed at that point. And one of the difficult things, like in recruiting, you know, you have an Arizona staff that has nobody on defense. They lose everybody. All right, well, think about that. They got to replace them. Okay, well, it's a credit to this program that we have coaches here that other schools come to look at for their expertise. Sure would like it that way than the other way, to be honest with you. Is it a pain? Yes. Is it, you know, they're your friends, you want to see them succeed, but you also have a reality of replacing them, and you have a team that you got to bring a new coach into and establish their role. But when Ashley came in here, he spoke to the team. Ashley Ambrose has a story, and I wasn't here, but I can tell you this, that our whole team, when he said something, all said yes, sir, at the same time. And I'm like, is that our team? Because they normally don't do that. You know, they were on point. So he obviously brings something to the table that is different, and I think our guys are going to appreciate. As far as the offensive side goes, you know, I said it in the statement and all that. Yeah, I'm assuming play calling duties. At the same time, hey, we have a very good staff in there. Have we done anything yet together? No, we haven't. So we're not accomplished, but we have guys in there that can coach, know it. Certainly have guys in there that could call plays, all right, once we have that entire formula put together. But that's going to be a collaborative effort with everybody in there. It's not just me, right? Hey, I've got ideas. I believe in what we do. I love the offensive side of things. It's the reason why I'm in the position I'm in, is because I just love doing that. Now, that being said, I love having coaches, you know, add their value to what we're doing as well. And that's what we'll do. And so as through spring, yes. Do I have the perfect answer for you right now? No, but we'll develop it. We'll develop it after spring. We'll develop it through the summer. We'll develop it into fall camp, and we'll develop it when it comes game time. And however that works, and I will be involved in that, it's going to be the very best plan that we have, you know, for the guys we have on staff. And if I'm excited about it, I've always been excited about it. I don't think I've ever been out of it from that standpoint. I haven't, you know, called every game, but I've I've been a part of the offense, always have been, always will be, and just enjoy that. And that's what I like to do on game day, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I also want our coaches to coach. I want them to be a big part of what we do, and I certainly know this: I don't have all the answers, and so equally as much, I sit in there and shut my mouth and listen to what they have to say and how we can make this better. And that's what I'm excited about. Zach, they have done a great job in their pass game at Eastern Washington, and I've watched it, and there's some things in there that I know for us that we need to probably scratch, add his, and develop a better pass game because of what he brings.
Now that the dust is settled for the class of 2016, how much time do you take off, and when you start recruiting for the class of 2017?
Yeah, I'm trying to offer today. You never take time. You can't. Sometimes the difference in getting a guy is being the first offer. All right, we're still in with a guy that we were the first offer, and I think every school and the NFL has offered him at this point. So, but hey, we were there. We got ahead of the game a little bit. So you're always recruiting. You have to be on top of that. You always have to be evaluating. That never ends. After signing, we have an early morning run tomorrow with our players, the second one of the week. So we are back to developing our team. The team here now, that's our team. We are developing those guys. They're working hard. They're focused. They're doing a great job. Had a workout on Tuesday, and they got after it. And that was just one of just a few that we have to do, but that was one, and we did a good job. Okay. Once this week's over, coaches have next week off, so they'll take a week off, and we're going to shut down the phones as much as we can and let these guys go recharge their batteries. We'll get back the following week, and then we're up and running and go from there. Get Coach Huff back. He had surgery on his knee, had a knee replacement. I don't know if I told you guys that or not, but he is doing well. He's at home today, and it's killing him not to be here, but very happy that everything is good with him, and we'll get him back the following week, and those guys will be in the offensive room, we'll be in the defensive room, we'll be doing what we need to do football-wise and getting ready for spring ball, which starts on March 7th, and then we'll kind of see where we're at on April 9th for the spring game and how far we've come and what new ideas we're implementing.
When your board is blank at the beginning of the recruiting session, you allude to maybe you've already done a little bit looking at, but let's say it's totally blank. The 24 names I see here, you have 4 that you had that came in mid-semester. How close do you get to what positions that you want? One quarterback, one kicker,
right,
whatever. How close is that? And then your years of experience here in Arkansas State and Texas, did you do anything differently this year as recruiting that you thought was better that helped you this year than past years?
Yeah, we're pretty close to what our numbers are. This is what we wanted to take. This is where we wanted to be. Sometimes when you have, let's say we have an extra wide receiver scholarship available. Say we lost a guy, or we're not quite sure. And you have your D-line solidified, but you've got a guy that's like, we cannot pass this guy up. You don't need him, but this guy's a player. Well, if you're just talking pure numbers, you need him on your team. Sometimes you're going to go over in an area there, and you're going to take this player because he fits, and you'll make it up, down the road. And I'll say this: after today, there's going to be some players out there. You think of Jeremy Avery? We signed him in April. There's guys out there that somebody hasn't picked up. There's guys out there that are going to be available, and having 1 or 2 scholarships to be able to utilize does not hurt you from that standpoint. As far as what we did differently, I think we just did more crossbreeding. I think we just had, for example, John Bates, tight end from Oregon. Well, in his home visit, it was me and Coach Avalos. Okay, why is Coach Avalos there? Well, Coach Avalos is one of our better recruiters. Coach Avalos is a guy, now at that time was promoted to D coordinator and brings a different perspective to the tight end position from the defensive side. And so I thought that combination where it wasn't always just me, position coach, and being able to do that, and some of it wasn't because we designed it, it was by need. Like, you know, hey, Rid had to be somewhere else, and Andy was going to be with me at that time. But I learned that I thought his conversation with the family, and he's not going to coach him, but who he is, they're looking at like, all right, this is just people in the program, not even my son's position coach. I thought it made a huge difference. And we left. I thought we'd get a commitment right there. We left, and it was probably 15 minutes later, a phone call, and he was in. And, you know, I think it had a lot to do with the way we did it, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of those throughout the entire process where I was with somebody that probably didn't need to be in there that made a big difference.
You hired two play caller each of the last 2 years. I'm wondering what made you decide to go the different route this time, and then obviously you've been through a decent number of coordinators your first 3 years. Wondering if that concerns you at all, that there may be, you know, something about your style that's an issue, or if it's just opportunities and it's kind of falling that way.
Sure. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair question when you have coordinators leave, and obviously I'm an offensive guy. All right, I know the offense. I believe in the offense. I've been involved in it. I'm a quarterback guy. You know, and it's a fair question. You know, is that too much? You know, am I too involved from that standpoint? I don't think so. I think, you know, when Coach Pete hired me to be the offensive coordinator, I thought he did a very good job of surrounding me with. You think about that staff: Sean Cooler, who's a head coach at UTEP, Brent Pease, all right, who ended up being the offensive coordinator, was at Florida, and so on. Jeff Choate, who's a head coach at Montana State. You think about that staff, all right? I had some really good coaches around me, and you know, for me, because I enjoy that, I've never wanted to get away from it. I've always wanted to be an idea and sounding board guy, and I've also, to be honest with you, I've been through a lot of the headaches that I can go in there on a board and just be like, we can't, and we don't have time to go through the whole history of it, but we're not doing that, because I just know it's going to lead to this issue because I've done it. And so from the working standpoint, no, I don't think that. I think I've added my opinions and ideas. I think sometimes, yes, we're going to do it this way because I know going into the game that's what I believe is the most effective way to do it. But I think opportunity, because, you know, if you look at what we've done here and from an offensive standpoint, you know, obviously Texas was interested in what we were doing. Florida was interested in what we were doing. Notre Dame is interested in what we're doing, and NC State's interested in what we're doing. Well, I think you have to look at it like that. I mean, these opportunities have come from a team that, and you know, we've put up most points in the last 15 or 16 years than anybody else. If you want to go put the averages up, well, you just sit there and look at the numbers, and you can go, well, we should go probably talk to a guy from Boise State about our offense. And you know, these guys taking opportunities from that standpoint. So, you know, I believe it's about opportunity. And to answer your question, yeah, probably part of that. I do like it. I am in it, and it probably makes sense. I know where I'm going. All right, that's pretty easy. Okay, I'm here, so we want to continue to keep developing that. And I think me being the play caller and just saying that and being a part of it, it just makes sense. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I mean, you sit there, and my wife and I, we talk about it, and I've done it. I've always enjoyed it. That's been the reason why I've loved coaching is being able to call plays and being involved in that aspect of it. So for me, the only thing that was always a little bit of a hesitation is the head coach role and the offensive coordinator role, but a lot of guys do it, and so you got to just make it make sense. I certainly want to make sure that I give my very all to our team, and that's culture, and that's keeping these guys accountable, and with our coaches, and not pulling away from that and just being the offensive coordinator. That's the head coach also. I'm the head football coach that will be the play caller on game day with a staff that's going to put together the plan, that we're going to be coordinated together. And then come game day, it's just about going out there and trying to put as many points on the board as we can. And that that makes me have to rely on not just our staff, but the Darren Ushers, the Taylor Tharps, the Antoine Murrays, the Brian Wilkinsons, the Brad Larondos of the world that are so valuable to making sure that this program is in good hands, while there might be a little bit of my time on the offensive side.
In the last 2 years, have you called plays at all here?
I have, yeah. I've called out
I mean,
plays.
other than, like,
yeah,
one or two
I'm a
here.
great suggester. Let me just say that. That's I'm a great suggester. So I've been in every game plan development. You know, so every Tuesday, you know, as the game plan gets put on the board, I've overseen everything that's gone in. Not everything has been my idea. All right, I won't say that, but I have overseen, I have understood, and I have made sure that what we're teaching and what we're doing is sound, at least from my knowledge, and with everybody in that room too. You know, there's obviously things that I've been talked into that I didn't quite know, that we have good coaches here. This is what we're doing. As far as play calling, openers, and all that, always been involved. You know, I think here's a good way to start the series, and then probably the third downs, probably some of the shots, probably, you know, a lot of the red zone. Hey, don't forget about this, which translates into let's call this. All right, and that's, you know, but here's the one thing that that's never been anything that I've ever been in question. You know, and with Zach as well. He knows my involvement. I think every guy that's been there, from Mike and Eli, they've known my involvement. And I hope in return, they've learned a lot, hopefully, from, you know, some of the things that I've learned from other coaches along the way. And talking with them, and you know, the conversations we have that are private outside of this building, when Mike calls me and keeps me in the loop on what he's doing and asks me things and tells me what he's implemented at Notre Dame and things that we do, and Eli talking about his process and how he's going to implement our system, you know, at NC State. A little bit, as frustrating as that can be with guys not being here, it's still, you're seeing guys develop and grow. And now it's, hey, you learn something, take this, go make it yours. And you know what, I did that when I went to Texas. And so I guess I look at it like that, and for me it's kind of like, well, I was in the same boat and did the same thing, and had to do that to develop to where I am now.
Like Chad said, you've lost coordinators over the past 2 seasons, but you lost Sanford at a different time than you lost these two guys. You lost him right after signing day before. Talk about the added stress that puts on you guys, because you're still in the thick of recruiting all these guys, and then you've got to coordinate logistically with bringing in Zach or whoever you interviewed for the offensive coordinator. Just talk about the added stress that brought on to losing these guys when you did.
Yeah, well, you're asking about the timing. It's stressful either way.
Okay.
All right, you lose Eli, all right, in the middle of recruiting, you got to go figure that out. Lost Mike when I was on vacation with my wife, and she was upset. So you talk about stress either way, all right? So it really doesn't matter. You know, when guys move on, there's no good timing in this. That's the one thing I've learned in this profession. There is no good timing. Justin Wilcox was here and left in spring when he went to Tennessee. And luckily we had Pete Kwiatkowski to elevate and move into that position when Coach Peterson was here. There's no good timing. The way you go about it, you know, that's what it is. You know, they were transparent. I knew what was going on, and at the same time, hey, it's like anything else. What do? It's next man up, right? Guys have opportunities. They do it for reasons, whatever that is, and you got to be next man up. And you know what I found is, you know, there's a lot of guys you'd be surprised, and I sure was too. I mean, I obviously knew a handful of guys that I kind of had on tap, that if things were to change, which you're prepared for that. But just the interest from so many others. And there were some names out there, and these are really good coaches that have jobs that want to be at Boise State. And you're kind of, you know, it makes you sit there sometimes and just think, well, in my mind, you're in a really good place, but in their mind, maybe it's not. And, you know, this is an opportunity. And I think if you look at the history in the last couple of years, I think people would look at it and go, hey, you know, I'm going to learn something. going to be in a good system, and there's obviously opportunities that come from it because we've seen that the last couple of years. So it is what it is from that standpoint. But timing of it, either way, it's difficult. Yeah, certainly through the recruiting of it. I will say this though, I don't think that affected any one of our recruits. I don't think it affected Micah. I don't think it affected DeMarie in any way, because those guys were solid. They understood. They said, Coach, I know we're not changing because of that, and they're kind of excited about who might be the new person coming in. But yeah, timing is never what you want it to be from that standpoint.
Like, you were taking a couple of private planes to some of your recruiting stops the last week or so. Do you do more of that than you had in the past, maybe? And how does that help you to be able to go, maybe to place privately instead of having to, check in and do TSA and wait for a plane?
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's no way. Let me say this. Yes, more than I ever have on the private flight standpoint. As many guys as we have on that board right there, to do that commercially would be impossible. And so, the ability to get on those flights and to be able to land, car, home, car, get the plane go, and be in 3 different spots possibly in one day, to make those visits like we talked about, and just being there for a couple hours, there's no way. That's why it's so valuable, and it is what it is. The NCAA with the dead period has shortened up our window of getting a chance to see these guys, and